Thank you for listening in to the Business Warrior podcast. Today, we have one of my own mentors and successful entrepreneur and award winner, Dan Hill. I have learned a lot with my time with Dan on his mentorship program, Property Entrepreneur, and it has fundamentally changed the way I operate on both a business and a personal level. Dan doesn't have one, but 4 successful businesses that he runs. We talked to Dan about his journey in business, as well as discussing the key topic of running your business like a race car and ensuring you don't run into the ground. Dan goes into the various stages that business go through and why success and failure are both highly predictable. We talk about the concept of life by design and how to play to your strengths, outsource your weaknesses, and focus on your flow state for a life of purpose. Finally, we talk to Dan about his 3 key lessons learned in business. We think you're going to get a lot of value from this podcast, so sit back and enjoy. Welcome, Dan, and thank you for being here. How are you doing?
Very, very well. How are you, Akash?
Yes, I'm good. It's Friday and I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Good man.
Dan, before we get started, I just want to congratulate you because I know you and a few people have just completed a half marathon, which is amazing. And you did it for charity. Can you just tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so last year we launched what we call our Get Up. Basically, we've been in business for a while and we've started doing charity. We wanted to do more charity stuff and we were looking at starting a charity or creating a foundation. And the paperwork, the red tape is just ridiculous. What we launched last year was our charity arm, if you like, called Get Up and Give Back. And the objectives of that is to promote physical and mental well-being in entrepreneurs. Obviously, you know how you have to be on your A game. You're like a professional athlete, to be in business, you need to be on your A game. So promoting the physical and mental well-being in entrepreneurs whilst simultaneously raising money for charitable causes. And loads of different reasons why we did it. But this year we partnered with Operation Smile and we set the target to raise the largest single donation that they'd ever received at 54,750. And over 13 weeks, 50 of us trained to run the 5K, 10K or half marathon. And 2 weekends ago, we smashed it. We raised the money, smashed the run. It was literally amazing. It was life-changing experience. It was very, very good.
Incredible. How much did you raise in the end?
Well, our target was 54,750, and I haven't checked for the last couple of days, but I think we've cleared now 74,000. So I think we've cleared our target by about 20 grand, which is just crazy. Like in 13 weeks.
That's incredible. And on top of the money that you've raised, have you ever kind of run the way you did before? Have you trained to run like you did in this?
Yeah, I definitely can't take a huge amount of credit because I've always been into like fitness. I've run the London Marathon. I've had a fair amount of experience. Some of the guys, all of these guys are on our property entrepreneur programs. They're all property entrepreneurs. They range from being in their sort of maybe mid-20s up to, people who haven't exercised for 20, 30 years. And all of them got involved. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So, some of the guys, Kevin Edge, Sebastian, they end up crossing the line. Sort of, I crossed the line with Kevin Edge.
Wow.
And Kev, and like if you'd have asked Kev to run a marathon a year ago, 2 years ago, he'd have thought you were mad. He's like grabbed it by the horns, absolutely smashed it. So, and like literally like been a life-changing experience for lots of the runners. And some of the guys who like haven't run for decades got involved. Literally, they just dragged themselves through the half marathon, got themselves across the line. It was like the most amazing experience. I'm very proud of like all of them. It was amazing.
Incredible, Dan. Hats off to you. And it's amazing what you've done to bring people together and do it for a charitable cause. So incredible.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So look, we've kind of jumped into that because I thought it was really amazing what you did there. But let's talk a bit about Dan and who you are. Just tell us a little about yourself, Dan.
Yeah, so my name's Daniel Hill. I'm the chairman of Pulse Trading Group and the managing director of PPN UK. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been in business all my life. We've started about, I don't know the actual numbers, probably about 20 companies to date. And 16 of those are still trading today. They range from small, low cost, low overhead, high margin startups up to national, international, multi-million pound organisations. So wherever people are on the spectrum, we've built businesses in different sizes. I focus now in property. So PPN UK is the property group that we run. And the main brands that people will be familiar with is our investment company, PPN Portfolio Builder, our portfolio management company, Multilet UK, Property Entrepreneur, our business in property training program, and then Manor House Developments, which is our build to rent to sell high density scheme development company. So I do business, property development, investment, training, all those sort of things really.
Awesome. And you've actually won an award, haven't you?
Yeah, very fortunate. Won 6 industry awards over the last 6 years, and the sort of 2 most significant for me really. I always wanted to win Young Entrepreneur of the Year because one of my sort of mentors won it. So that was my initial drive as a youngster. Won Young Entrepreneur of the Year in 2013, and then obviously I wanted to go one better, so I was aiming for Entrepreneur of the Year. And very, very proud in 2018, I was awarded Entrepreneur of the Year for building PPN UK. So, yeah, won a couple of awards.
Awesome. So it sounds like you're really into your business. How did you get started in business? How did you realize that business was the thing that you love or the thing that you want to do?
I've definitely always been an entrepreneur. So literally at school, do you remember Pogs and Slammers?
Yeah.
So I was playing Pogs and Slammers at school, and I'd win the Pogs. I'd get really good at playing Pogs and Slammers, and I'd win the Slammers off people, stick them on my briefcase, and then after school I'd trade them back for things like calculators or cash or sweets or whatever. And then the next day at school I'd win them back and sell them. And then I opened up a Pog shop. Always have been entrepreneurial, so I've always been like that. And then with regards to business, I've been self-employed all my life. So since I was I've always been self-employed. And I was on the buildings for a few years doing hod carrying, roofing, dry lining. Floor screeding was the worst. That is a horrendous job. It's
really?
Yeah, we used to say that you should have to do that for community service, not for a living. And I just did that for a few years and just realised that. Well, I realised the harder you worked, the more you got paid. So the more gear that I could get out, the more more money I'd make. But also, I didn't want to be doing the grunt work. I wanted to work my way up and be the guy that was developing and acquiring and building the properties, not actually physically building them. So I did that in 2000, and we moved out of the clothing company and the clothing and events company in about 2011, and then went into property in 2012. I just like being an entrepreneur. I like choosing my own challenges. I like grafting. I like the freedom. Yes, I like working from home. I like just doing my own thing.
Yeah, we'll come on to that because I think you really have built your life as you've designed it. But before we get there, one thing that we talked about when we was on your Property Entrepreneur is both success and failure are both highly predictable. Yeah. And you've been through quite a few of your businesses, so you've seen the stages that your businesses goes through. So can you just talk about that saying in conjunction with the stages of a business? Yeah,
honestly, it's I think people look. I think in the early days, you look up and aspire to be those people who are the high performers in your industry, whether they're health and fitness or finance or whatever. The people that you aspire to be, like academics, and you think that they've cracked the code. They know this secret algorithm. They're magicians. Entrepreneurs are magicians a little bit, but you think that they've got this secret algorithm. As you become more developed and experienced in it, and also now that we've trained other people in it, what you realise is that the whole thing is all a game. You and I and everyone can literally do or have or be or create absolutely anything they want. You just have to learn how to do it. You just have to know how to do it, which is the predictable bit, and then you have to actually execute. And the reality is most people, all of us actually, struggle with the execution. And it's execution is everything. The game is like a board game. You can open a book and you can learn the rules. You can watch other people play and see how they come up with different tactics. You learn and study it. And then the reality is how well, and I'm not saying how hard can you work, I'm saying how well can you execute? How effectively can you execute? The best one for you and I would be RNT Fitness. When I say success and failure are very predictable, Akash, who's my nutritionist and personal trainer, who was yours, was he?
Yeah, that's right.
So he trains us for our fitness and well-being and nutrition. And he gives me a spreadsheet and it's got like 12 boxes on for the week. And if I get to the end of the week and I've eaten that and I've done those miles and I've done those steps and I've lifted those weights, at the end of the week is success. If, however, on Tuesday I didn't eat my meal plan, I went to the pub instead of doing 15,000 steps and I had a Mars bar on the road or whatever, you get to the end and you don't get the results. Like success and failure are very, very predictable. You just need to know the blueprint to make it work.
Yeah. Do you think that kind of comes with experience? I think you already kind of mentioned that, because people getting started out on midway through, they might kind of see it differently. So how do you think you get that knowledge?
Well, it's out there. Everything I've learned from somewhere. There's I'll take other people's best practices and create some of my own stuff. But, I wanted to know how to invest in property. So I went on Simon Zucchi's mastermind program. Within a year, I learned every single strategy going. I learned how to buy a house, and I did 18 deals in the first year. It's like the information's out there. You just need to download it. The thing that comes with experience is the execution, I think. You get better at picking up habits. You get better at discipline. You get better at focus. I was in the gym this morning. I was thinking, I'm at a stage now where I'm really starting to pick these habits up and I'm getting some good results, things like that. And also I was looking at other people who are perhaps a few years behind me, who are really badly out of shape. And the things they're trying to learn is like not to eat junk food, to do steps, to actually get up and go to the gym. The more you get better and quicker and faster at executing, but the process of it is highly predictable, like highly, highly predictable.
Yeah, I think Sylvester Stallone said something similar. He was like, the older you get, the smarter you train. And I think that's a similar story for me, because, like other people, I've been training my whole life and I never really got the results I got. But then it's kind of people with like Akash that I trained with as well. The older I got, the smarter I trained. And I started getting results at the age of 38, not at the age of like 26 when everyone else can get it. So I kind of believe in that accumulated experience, and the older you get, actually the smarter you get, so you can execute, to a higher degree. So that's great. When I came to property entrepreneur, I was working at a company called Lifestyle Property People. And at that point, I wanted to create the biggest, baddest business that could fly to the moon and kind of come back. And you grounded me really well, and you actually changed my perspective on it and said, do you really want that? Do you want to talk about the kind of phases a business goes through, from the beginning to kind of like, I guess, a performance business, and just what they entail? Because you've been through them, right?
Success and failure are very predictable. It's very clear what stages, where the businesses, the different stages they go through. And the most important thing is that you go into with your eyes open to understand what it entails. So the first port of call is this is in property, is the landlord level. And this is where you take a leap of faith, you go self-employed for the first time, and you think, oh my God, am I going to be able to survive? And you're doing everything, deal sourcing, maintenance, lettings, collecting rents. You do literally everything. And whilst it's hard work, it's all-encompassing. You can't take a couple of weeks holiday without being disturbed. It's absolutely all-encompassing. You're like, you own your own destiny for the first time. You answer to yourself. You don't have a boss. You work twice as hard for half as much most of the time, but you're in that amazing space where you are self-employed. So that's the first phase, and like that's the exciting phase initially. But then the novelty wears off pretty quick, and lots of small businesses get stuck there. The next stage is the investor level, and the investor level is where you basically leverage your value. So, for example, in property, I'm a property investor, a developer. I know how to develop property. Rather than do it all myself, I leverage people, so build a team, and then leverage some systems. So get a bookkeeper and a bookkeeping software, get project manager and use some project management software. Build those together and create like a nice little lifestyle business. And these lifestyle businesses, they're band of brothers culture. It's great fun. There's a very grey line between work and play. It's your life. You're passionate about it. You're addicted to it. You feel like it's an extension of yourself. You can go on holiday for a few weeks and it really doesn't, the whole thing doesn't really fall to bits. And it's just a really, really, it can be a magical place if the founder's still in it, and it can be highly lucrative if you get your numbers right. that's where I'd encourage most people to aim for, really, is that lifestyle business. And then about that sort of lifestyle investor level business. And then the top level, which is the entrepreneur level, is there's only like 5% of people that will get up to that level. It's you're highly scalable, highly tradable, standardized, multi-office, multiple teams, multiple revenue streams, real big, high performance, sort of semi-corporate or corporate organizations, really. And there's a very clear journey between the two. You have to, what you need here doesn't get you here, and what you need here doesn't get you here. The whole thing, like a snake changing its skin, like shreds the whole lot to move up to the next level. And they're the three levels you go through, really. I've been through all three. There's pros and cons of each. I operate at the entrepreneur level. We've got a head office in Nottingham. We've got 7 offices around the UK, 6 or 7 offices around the UK. We've got departments, heads of departments, lots of people, lots of overheads. But they're the sort of businesses that I operate in now. Equally, I love the lifestyle. The lifestyle business was my friends, my family, my band of brothers, passion, emotion, want to prove yourself. Yeah, really, really great time. So it's horses for courses, really.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, when we talked about that, being a creator, which I'll talk a bit more about shortly, is I wanted to build a business baggers thing, but when I talked to you, I rethought that, and I thought, lifestyle is a place where you get a good balance for, because I've got a family and I've got children, and the advice that I ended up talking it through with you, I was like, lifestyle is a good place to be because you can still have a good balance in your life, right?
Yeah, most of the thing that drives you to the entrepreneur level is just ego. It's just like it is just a chest beating ego exercise that you think bigger's better. And most people, when they start a property entrepreneur, think they want an entrepreneur level business. And once they've done a couple of years and they've mastered the investor level and they realise what it takes to actually break through successfully, most either try it. Not many have tried it and failed on property entrepreneur. They try it and realise that they don't like it, and then they come back to the safety zone, because it is a white or lucky ride, it's serious.
Hold on to your seats. Yeah. No, I mean, that's really useful. And I think our listeners will find that really useful. Talking about kind of lessons learned that I even had, when I came to you, me and Shiv, my partner at the time at Lifestyle, we were the way we ran our business was kind of go, go, go. All year round, it was just, do sales, do marketing, do everything at the same time. One of the analogies you use is run your business like a race car. And this was a real eye-opener for me in terms of running your business through the seasons. Can you explain, elaborate on that a bit more?
Yeah, so what we use is the seasons in the business. So it's all a game. Like, all of this is a game, and you want to gamify it. And the reality as an entrepreneur is you'll normally be stuck in one of 4 gears. And you really need, in order for a car to be able to accelerate as fast as possible, it needs to go through the gears. So we start the business cycle, start the race with the race car in autumn. So autumn across the bottom, which is October, November, December, winter, spring, and summer. So autumn, the race car comes out of summer. We're in spring now, but coming out of summer, like by the end of summer, that's the end of the race. So you want to have shredded tyres, empty fuel, steam coming out of the bonnet. The thing's about to fall to pieces because you've ragged the living daylights out of it. You want to get it into autumn, flick it onto cruise control, and it's still moving, but you're not racing anymore. You're not thrashing the living daylights out of it. You're listening to the engine. You're figuring out what works, what doesn't work, what needs repairing. And then within that season, what we do in our business is, having looked at what's working and what's not, we spend 3 months deciding what race are we going to run next year and what we're going to change, what do we want more of, what do we want less of, what do we want to keep. And then at the end of autumn, we say, right, well, next year we want to do X. We want to go up to the next league of racing, or we want to go to the lower league of racing, whatever. And as a business, you decide, right, our strategy for next year is to do this. And then in the winter, we take the car, the business, into the pit stop. And in the pit stop, we don't race, we don't do sales, we don't expand, we don't go and put the foot on the accelerator. We lift the bonnet, and then we work under the bonnet. We fix the engine, we change the oil, we upgrade the systems, the operations, the processes. We do all the work under the bonnet for 3 months, which most entrepreneurs never do because they're too busy messing around in the fun seasons. You use that time, and it's like the tortoise and the hare. You take the tortoise mentality through the winter. Tortoise mentality on the basis that you're going to stop, get fixed up, and then you're going to actually catch this guy up later on because they're going to be too exhausted. Like go all guns blazing the whole time. During the winter, stop, and then in the spring, it's all about warming the tires. So you've put new operations in, you've put new systems in, you put new processes, new engines, new tires, everything. If you went and put your foot down straight away, the car would come off the track and you'd crash it. It's the same when you change your business. You launch new operations, new systems, new processes. You need to warm the tires and test them, refine them. Only 50% of it will work. The other 50%, 30 will need to be refined, and 20 will need to be sacked altogether because it's wrong. Test that, get it ready, and then as soon as in spring you've got the confidence, put your foot down, and then during spring and summer you just race the race car. You sell like your life depends on it. You scale, you buy businesses, you expand. The market conditions are fantastic, and you go and race the car, thrash the living daylights out of it, and then by the end of the summer, there's steam coming out of the engine again, and you go back through the cycle. And that's how businesses grow. They grow in a cyclical manner. Businesses don't grow in a linear fashion. They don't like grow and grow and grow. They grow and then need to be fixed, and then grow and need to be fixed. They step change, and the way you do that is in a cyclical fashion. Scale them, slow them, fix them, scale them, slow them, fix them, scale them, and then eventually it'll get, not eventually, it's never finished. It'll just keep going and going and going.
Yeah, I mean, I've taken that away, and in the mortgage business that I've got with my partner Lee, we've taken that approach now as well. And we slow down in the winter. We look at what needs to be fixed. We looked at our business plan coming up to the new year, and that's definitely something I've taken away with me. And I'll be running my businesses from now on like that. And it gives you a chance to kind of recover as a person as well, right?
It's all a game. It's like in every season, at the beginning of winter, I'm like, oh, thank God it's the winter. I'm bored of autumn. And then you get towards the end of winter and you think, oh my God, I'm so sick of processes and operations. I can't wait for the spring. Now the spring's here. It's like, let's go out, let's do some deals. It's like, let's make a bit of a mess. Yeah, it's all a game. It gives you a start point, an end point. Your team understand where they are, so they're constantly on the cycle. It just makes it all a game. That is it, really.
Yeah, awesome. So you talk about life by design. Can you explain that concept a bit further for you, what it means to you?
Yeah. So life by design is you want to live your life by design, not by comparison. And in the whole world now with social media, it's very easy to follow the highlight reel of Facebook or Instagram, where everyone's life's better than you. They're earning more money. They've got less problems. They're better looking because they know how to use a filter. There's all this fake highlight reel that exists. You could very easily jump on the treadmill and on the conveyor belt line, just follow your life the same as everyone else. Entrepreneurs do it all the time. They think they need to have the biggest, baddest, best business in the world. The reality is, you need to be more deliberate about it. Don't start building it until your plan is finished. And the way you do that is understand what is your life by design. I'm an empire builder. I like owning things. I like owning offices and businesses and having employees and assistants, and that is my life by design. I like to have those things around me. That suits me really well. I like high pressured environments. I like growth. I like development. I like to push myself out of my comfort zone. I like to feel under pressure and under pressure and challenge. That is my life by design, and I really, really like it. Other people are not like that. I've got friends. I get up at ridiculous time in the morning, and I'll happily. My biggest challenge is not working. My biggest challenge is stopping myself from overworking. Yeah. I make myself ill. I think it's like alcohol. I like drinking alcohol and having a social and having a party, and it fits in with your life, and it's good fun, and it's reasonably harmless, and that's really good. But if you go silly on alcohol and you start drinking it at inappropriate times, you're not having a break, it's starting to overcome, it's becoming more of an addiction than an enjoyment, it can create real problems with your life. And the same as business. When you get to become a high performer and you become sort of addicted to this stuff, it's like a hobby. that can cause you hurt, and you want to understand how to tie that in. That's my lifestyle and how I build my life by design. I love that sort of environment. I've got other friends who are lifestyle entrepreneurs, and their life by design is to do 3 or 4 days work a week, be engaged with it, be passionate about it, be highly lucrative, but they like to have 20 weeks holiday a year, and they like to have 3 and 4 day weekends, and they like to make sure they're finished by 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's their life by design. And there's nothing right or wrong. Like, some people will be more attracted to this, other people will be more attracted than this. That is your life by design. The most important thing is you don't live life by comparison. Like, if you're living this life, but you think, because your life partner or your neighbour or someone in your family or on your Facebook feed's doing this, oh my God, I've got to keep up with the Joneses. You completely lose all the benefit of being an entrepreneur. The benefit of being an entrepreneur is it's life by design. And you can create other people's life by design. I try and feed that through my company. So I understand what people want more of, less of, keep, and then I help to build the business to facilitate that. So that's the concept of life by design.
Yeah, no, that's really useful. And I think the way I kind of just summarize that is that there's people who let life happen to them, and there's people who kind of design their life, and it's as simple as that. And that's what I do, the same thing. I wake up early. And the reason I wake up early is because that's my time, because I want to either further myself or further my business. As soon as I hit like 9 o'clock, I'm on work time, which means that, and so where's your time in that? So you have to kind of carve out your time to try and drive your life the way you want.
And talking about one of the things we're doing on Property Entrepreneur at the minute is the miracle morning. So we're teaching people how to set up their morning. And we talk about exactly that. You get to a point, like up to that point, that's your time to get stuff done. After that, the world's going to take over. WhatsApp, telephone, kids, family, whatever. That side of it, if yours is 9 a.m., mine's 8 a.m. Well, in fact, my phone's locked until 8 a.m. at the minute. Yeah. If yours is still 9, if you like to give everyone an insight, how do you feel that time before? Like, how do you choose to spend your time?
So I wake up at 4. Yeah, and I'm always pushing that boundary because it's exactly what you said. Is I want to maximize my time because life and your time on this planet is limited, and I want to make the most of myself, and I want to see what I can achieve in that time. So I even tried 3:30, and we'll see how that goes. But so what I do at the moment is I wake up and I jump on a treadmill for an hour. So I do my cardio. What I've started doing recently with Business Warrior is on the treadmill, I write content, because when I'm writing content, I'm actually in a flow state and the content just comes out of me. So I'm writing it on my phone while I'm just walking on the treadmill. I'm not running. So I do that for an hour. And then I go to the gym for an hour. I come home about 6:30 and then I dress my daughter and I take her to nursery. And then I normally start work about 8:30. But at the moment, it's all about what your priorities and values are. For me, staying fit and health is one of my important things. And what I've done is I've linked my health with my creativity. So I'm on the treadmill and I'm writing content, and I'm like, boom, double whammy.
I see that.
Yeah. So yeah, and then after that, it's I write off the day because the rest is, like you said, it's work, meetings, stuff happening to you rather than you kind of affecting other things. You can, but you just got to be realistic about what you want to achieve.
Yeah, definitely with you on that. 100%. Yeah.
So I just mentioned flow, and you talk about wealth dynamics, which is something that I've picked up a lot now, and that's why I'm working to in kind of Business Warrior. Now, you're a creator on the wealth dynamics profile. Do you just want to explain what a creator is and how you've kind of worked to your strengths?
Yeah, so Wealth Dynamics is 8 different profiles. So it's the same as Myers-Briggs, disc profiling, Demono 6 hats. There's loads of different profiles. And basically what it does is, in a crude sense, it puts you in a box and identifies you by your strengths, your weaknesses, your natural attributes, your whatever, energy levels. And to do it in the easiest sense in this instance, Wealth Dynamics, the 8 profiles, is broken into 4 energies, and the 4 energies are dynamo, which is the sort of diagram I was drawing in the air earlier is property entrepreneur. Dynamo is spring, so I'm a dynamo. I operate best in the spring. Blaze is summer, tempo is autumn, and steel is winter. And everyone will fit into one of those categories. When you understand what category you're in, it helps you to be in flow, which is what you're talking about. So I'm a dynamo. I'm really good at getting things started, creating new ideas, head in the clouds. I'm very intuitive. I'll come up with creative ideas. I'm very high frequency. I get things at a very high level. I'm very dynamic. They're my sort of skill sets. My weaknesses are things like I've got a low attention to detail. My patience is very low. I'm not a great finisher. I'm a much better starter. I move too fast, so I don't have my ear to the ground. I'm not hugely sensory. I can miss things that are going on around me. And that's where I sort of operate. And my responsibility in the business really is driving it forward. And then I create the idea up here, send it to the Blazes, and then the Blazes scale the business. They do the sales. That's like our national sales team and our head of sales. They go out and sort of scale the business, do all the sales. Tempo is more the service, so it's more grounded, ear to the ground, more in tune with the sensory element, rolling your sleeves up and deal in the moment, being more reactive, keeping the business going. And then winter is your detail. So finance, compliance, operations, processes, all of that. And when you understand what they are, you start to just understand how other people work. I'm going to sneeze in a second. You start to understand how other people work. You start to understand how to interact with other profiles. You start to be more respectful of why other people are how they are. When you have, when I was ignorant in the profiles, I thought everybody else should be like me. Everybody else should be a million miles. Why is my bookkeeper not a million miles an hour getting excited about this stuff? It's because that's where the money's made. Up here's the revenue, down there's the profit. You need my creativity and head in the clouds and somebody else on the details to get that bottom line. There's loads of broke entrepreneurs out there, and the reality is that they don't have that focus in their business because they don't have the skill set themselves half the time, most of the time, depending on what profile entrepreneur they are.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to self-awareness. I think self-awareness is one of my biggest strengths, and I think you've nailed it really, because it's having the understanding of what you're good at, what you're not good at, and then delegating that to other people. Which because I look at what you've done, and I can see you've mitigated your weaknesses so well. One of the things you talk about is creators never finishing what they do, and I'm completely guilty of that. But the one thing you've hammered home is don't start until it's finished. And even with Business Warrior, I really wanted to launch it when it was like half ready to go, and I was like, no, listen to what Dan said, don't start it till it's finished. And this isn't going out, none of this is going out until it's all finished. How did you manage to kind of get to the point where you curbed your weaknesses and you've made it a strength now?
Yeah, so definitely like the art of delegation. You want to get to a point where you don't have any involvement in the day-to-day business. My involvement is very limited because the business to run, it doesn't need a dynamic entrepreneur. It needed it to start and it needed it a bit to systemize, but it doesn't need it to run. So like I make myself reasonably sort of redundant from those businesses, which, works very well for everyone that's in it. The concept of like, don't start until it's finished is one of the biggest danger to most entrepreneurs is they spend their life doing things that don't make money. And the hallmark of an entrepreneur really is you want to get to a point as an entrepreneur where you're earning a market rate salary for what you do. So if you're running a cafe, the market rates, if you were to employ someone to do your job, might be 25 grand a year. You need to make sure you're being paid by that business that you own 25 grand a year for doing that job. So the hallmark of an entrepreneur is that you earn a salary and then at minimum, it pays you the same again in profit. So then the benefit there is you're doubling your money because you're taking on the risk of owning the business. A lot of entrepreneurs don't do that. They get the business to a point where it's paying them a salary to survive, but they've also got the risk of owning the business and the stress of owning the business, and they're taking it home with them, and they've got personal guarantees on it. You want to get a salary and the same in profit as a minimum to become an entrepreneur. The first phase of don't start until it's finished is chuck it against the wall, see if it sticks. Do a few things, do a few podcasts, get them out there, see if people like them. People say, what is it? Ready, shoot, aim. Is it ready, fire, aim? Yeah. So it's basically like, just get out there and do it. I definitely agree. There's legs in that. That's your proof of concept. Figure out if there's some legs in it. Do that, like test the proof of concept. But before you go, if you've done 2 HMOs and you think it's going to work, don't go and do 100 until you've really drilled down on what this is going to look like. Once you've done your first podcast and you've got them out and you got some feedback, that works really well, that didn't, you're listening to it yourself and you've got it nailed. It's like, right, that works, that doesn't, this is what we're going to build. And then you don't actually start scaling the business until it's finished. So Multilet UK that's about 4 years old now. It's got 6 or 7 offices around the UK. Can't remember exactly how many. And the business model for that, 4 years. So 4 years on, the brand's changed, the pricing's changed, the cost base has changed, the team have changed. Everything in it has changed apart from the business model. The business model was created at the beginning and it's the whole fundamental of the business making money. The only thing that hasn't changed through that whole process is the business model. And you want to have that cracked before you go out and actually build it. And that's where a lot of entrepreneurs get it wrong. 80-20 rule, 80% of your profits coming from 20% of your business. Find that 20% and try and flip the switch. How can you turn that round and get it more lucrative? So yeah, don't start until it's finished really. Adam Goff, he's our host and now head of admissions on Property Entrepreneur. He talks about revising. When he was doing his A-levels, I think it was, he had 5 weeks to revise. And after the first 2 days, he went down and sort of said to his mum, "Oh, look at this is amazing." She's like, "How's your revision going?" And he showed her a revision timetable for the next 4 weeks. And she was like, "You mean you've wasted 2 days putting a revision timetable together and haven't actually done any revision?" But the reality is what he's done there is he's actually created the whole plan, all of the detail to make sure he's going to go all guns blazing, but he needs to be doing it effectively. And it's the same with your business. It's like, don't start you wouldn't build a building. You wouldn't build a building like this without a solid plan. A business has far more moving parts and more detail to be considered. Why would you build a business with anything less? Well, literally don't start it till it's finished. Get it absolutely nailed and then go and scale it. And you'll never look back then.
Great advice. Just before we move on to lessons learned, how have you used wealth dynamics to recruit in your business?
Yeah, so it's part of our recruitment process. All the different profiles have all the different roles that you want in your business will have different profiles. So, for example, a creator's not the easiest one. Creators are normally anything creative, like product designers, marketeers, artwork, illustrators, that sort of thing. If you want Blaze, so if you want a salesperson, you want them to be Blaze. They love connecting with people. They're extroverted. They're high energy. You want them out tearing down trees. That'd be your salespeople. Tempos would be like your project managers, customer service, property managers, maintenance team, people who are out there like the emergency services in the thick of it, keeping this thing going day in, day out. And then your steals would be bookkeepers, solicitors, architects, administrators, credit controllers, new let administrators, PAs, all of those sort of things. So whatever position you're recruiting for, there's a profile and you want to get as close to that as possible, really.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know. And it sounds like wealth dynamics, you've really, it's influenced you quite a bit, because if you're using it for recruitment, you've used it to kind of change your team up. You say it's a big part of how you run businesses?
Yeah, without a doubt. Like, it's a big part of how, definitely. Yeah. Big part of how get involved in any of the businesses. I was going to say it's a big part of my life as well, but when you have this level of awareness, and I could profile most people now reasonably accurately. When I meet somebody, there's always obviously anomalies and people who are completely like chameleons, but you can normally realise how someone is, and then it helps you to have a conversation with them. You and I are talking fast-paced, high-energy, intuitive. Some of the detail people will be sitting there thinking, "Oh my god, like these guys are, the volumes eating my energy up. Slow down, go into some detail. You nutty professors sort of thing." Like it's it helps you to learn how to communicate with other people and be more empathetic to people.
Yeah, I think I had that with my wife actually, Samira, because Samira is a blaze energy, and when we used to be at home, there would be certain things that she just had no interest in, and I'd get frustrated in it. But after wealth dynamics, I'm like, now I understand she doesn't want to stay home. She gets her energy from people, or she doesn't like this. It's not in her nature to do that. And it's just changed how my perspective of her and people in general. So
it's not one for today, but there's a wealth dynamic set of cards. Sounds a bit sort of like woo-woo, but basically it's like, I don't know how many, 64 cards, I think. And it shows you how to communicate with every profile. So if you're a black, if I'm a Blaze and you're a Dynamo, tell me how to communicate with you, how to be, all those sort of things. So honestly, it's so valuable. It takes years to master, but you can pick up the basics really quickly.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome, Dan. Awesome. All right, Dan, you've got a wealth of knowledge in the business industry. Why don't we move on to the final phase and talk about your 3 top lessons learned from business? I think that's going to be invaluable to our listeners.
Yeah. So first one would be, the first one without a doubt is play the long game. Like in every capacity of your life and business, play the long game. I've been playing this game and it's all a game. The whole thing is a game. Like, don't take it for anything more. Don't take it for anything less. Don't get caught up in the money and all that. Don't be blasé with investment funds and stuff like that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying money, like once you've got money and you're comfortable, there's a law of diminishing returns after that. You look for more things like personal growth and stuff like that, security, like all those sort of things. But play the long game. And I think I see a lot of people be very transactional in their businesses. So they make decisions on a daily or weekly basis based on, am I going to be able to screw this person for a bit more money? Or how can I get more money out of this one deal? Or this deal's gone tits up, I'm going to do whatever. It's like, well, that's fine. That the long game is infinite, and I would say I'm playing the longest game there is. So I'm always playing the long game. Okay, right, we didn't make any money on this deal. I'm going to roll over to the next one and carry on in good stead with this person because there's a bigger picture at the other end. And you do that enough, and it compounds like ridiculously. So like I've done a couple of deals with somebody who's now one of my business partners. And that relationship probably took 3 or 4 years of being okay. Like it was okay, it made a bit of money. And then 4 years in, it's a multi-million pound company. It's making like high 6-figure profits. It's an amazing position to be in, but it's only because I played the long game through the process. My business partner in Manor House Development, so that's a £20 million joint venture between me and one of my business partners. And that took me 5 years of playing the long game, 5 years of investing money, doing work that I didn't get paid for, putting some of my own money in, which I lost into like deals when we were learning how to do X, Y, Z. I was like, right, there is a bigger game at the end of this. And then when the bigger game came in, it was like, oh my God, this is exactly what I've been waiting for. So play the long game. Like business is a long game. Do the right thing. Don't hurt too many people on your way. Play the long game is definitely probably the first one. The second one would be we've already talked about it. Success and failure, very predictable. It's really, really master what does it take to get to where you want to be. Find somebody who's done it, who knows it inside out. Like a proper entrepreneur, we give everyone a step-by-step plan. And we say to them at the beginning, every single workshop you leave, you're going to read this and understand exactly what you've got to do. The reality is the execution's the hard bit. If you want to be fit and healthy, get a personal trainer. If you want to live a long time, get a nutritionist. If you want to be amazingly successful in business, get a mentor who can give you a blueprint to follow. Success and failure are very predictable. Find that blueprint. Get somebody else to give it that's proven, tested, flawless. Find that blueprint and then just execute relentlessly against it. And that's what we do. All of our businesses are built using the property entrepreneur methodology. All of the property entrepreneurs who build their businesses are built using the methodology. And it's not a coincidence that as of yet, like touch wood, none of those businesses have gone out of business. Every year they seem to be able to increase profits and achieve growth. And all they're doing is following the same blueprint. So success and failure are very predictable, and find out the plan and then execute relentlessly against it. And then the third one would be you get what you focus on. So you can achieve anything in your life. Like you can achieve absolutely anything, but you can't achieve everything. If your primary objective this quarter is to double the size of your business and you also want to do a body transformation, the reality is one of them is going to command more of your attention. 70-20-10. If you do 50-50, your growth will be half-assed. If you do 70-20-10, you get the best of both worlds. I've been trying to do my body transformation. I've not been trying to do it. I've been working on it for probably 6 to 9 months now, and I've been getting very gradual results. I've got to a point now where my habits have got to a point where I'm on board with it, I get it, it's effective, and I'm now ready to flick the switch. This quarter, my primary objective this quarter is health and fitness. It's doing my body transformation, stripping that last couple of kilo of fat off, getting that muscle mass up. And that's, that is my primary objective now. And that is what I'll achieve. You get what you focus on. You can't have your cake and eat it. Whatever you need to achieve in your business, whatever's going on, get it focused, get it right. And that is what you'll achieve. Like if you go, PPN UK doubled in size every year for 5 years. And what we wanted was revenue, land grabbing. We wanted market share, and we achieved that. But what it did was it crippled the bottom line because you're making mistakes, you're growing too quick, you're recruiting the wrong people, you're making mistakes, it's costing you money. We then got to year 6 and we said, right, well, this year we get what you focus on. We're not focusing on revenue and land grab, we're focusing on bottom line time. And revenue actually reduced during that 12 months, but profit went up like over 30%. The reason there is you get what you focus on, and we were focusing on profitability. So for the first time ever, that was our primary focus. And all of a sudden, the bottom line started to increase. So yeah, you get what you focus on, choose wisely, be very, very strategic about what you choose. And then without exception, lock into it, get your execution down, fire off your discipline and just smash it out of the park.
Those are some great lessons learned, and I'm a big believer of standing on the shoulder of giants and listening to other people's lessons learned and trying to make sure I don't make the same myself. And I'm sure our listeners will be thinking the same. Dan, thank you so much for being on the show. How can our listeners find you if they want to get hold of you?
Follow me on Facebook. So Daniel Hill. There'll be a picture of me probably speaking. Follow me on Facebook, Daniel Hill, or follow me on Instagram, which is Property Entrepreneur. That's the best way. Check out ppn.co.uk if you want to check out any of our companies. And yeah, I wish everyone the very best of luck.
Yeah, and just one final thing to say is I've been on the Property Entrepreneur program. I can say it's changed my life. And if you are in property, even if you're not in property, I don't know if you do take people who are not in property, who are in business, I think it is so much to learn just from a business perspective that you could really do with it. So I would recommend that highly, and you can find out more about that with, I'll put a link in the podcast.
Yeah, check out the Property Entrepreneur website, go online. It's been oversubscribed every year for 6 years. Honestly, it's just a blueprint. I do it at the same time as all of you. Like you and I did it together, I said, right, Akash, this month you go and do this. I'm going to go and do it on my business. Then let's come back and compare notes. It's not some academic thing that we've plucked off a shelf. This is like a unique, tried and tested blueprint. You've just got to figure out how to execute. So I appreciate the confidence box tick there. And yeah, recommend any of your listeners get involved. It's a great program.
Yeah, brilliant. Highly recommended. Dan, thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, I wish you all the very best with your future ventures and a good weekend, buddy.
Very good. It's good to catch up. All the best, Akash. Take care.
Cheers. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you for listening to the Business Warrior podcast. If you liked it, click subscribe or share, and we look forward to seeing you next time.